and Health. Friends and Health is for your daily motivation in your wellness journey and also inspiration. Most of the time we know what to do, we just not doing it. We don't have extra motivation, we don't have extra accountability. Friends and Health is for that. Okay, so hopefully I am live. As we all know, connection today can be quite interesting. So I am going to double check and I see myself there. Okay. So let's dive in how to plan bad days. One of these, I am sitting in my own kitchen because it's so much warmer than in my studio. So what you see is actually outside of this window is white, white, white snow. Well, it's also a sunshine in Dallas. Combined with white snow, it's a lot of light. But it's really beautiful. So hopefully everyone is staying safe and warm. And let's talk about how to plan the bad days. And the bad days is really an expression most of us use, but they're not so bad. They're just not as successful as I may say. It's something we don't want to happen to us too often or at all, just because how do we plan that? How do we live through those days with our energy and power? How do we get out of that situation? So what can be our bad days actually? Let's look at what can be the bad day for you. And I'm going to give an overall list, but really look at what's in your life. For example, today or last weekend, and they may be great days, but they might be bad days for another area of your life. So for example, we've got snow and cold in Dallas. We haven't seen that cold in 14 years. Schools are out. Well, it's holiday as well, but schools will be out probably the entire week. So kids are at home. Electricity is off in a lot of places of the country, and the business is slow. Therefore, you may not be able to talk to some clients, and it's so easy to maybe have some warm food that might be comforting, or it's so easy to give into this negative thinking. So the bad days are really can be whether it's weather related that you can't do anything, it's the circumstance of nature and life. Whether it's the bad day where it started so well and then you overate and the judgment comes in, whether it's just I just don't feel like it today or something is happening. Here's my situation. I go for a run 3 times a week and I am not going to go for a run in a 1-foot snow, just not. So it's a bad case I've got to do something about. So here's my invitation for us, and I'm looking at my notes here. The best way to handle the bad days is to plan the bad days. You probably heard an expression, failure to plan, planning to fail. Because if I don't plan, it's easy to go through easy days. But what do we do in those bad days? We've got to plan. And here's what we plan. It's really just 2 elements that I feel are the most crucial. Number 1 is write down, and I'm just going to focus on writing down. It works in my head, but when the bad day comes, my head goes crazy emotionally. So it's really important to have a reference, almost like your manual of the bad days. Well, first of all, what can happen as a bad case situation is, I call it worst case scenario. For example, Valentine's Day. We love this day, but it's full of sweets and something else that we eat and we may not want to eat in the regular day. So it's the diet-wise might be a bad day. Or I happen to be very tired and happen to overeat. It's a bad case scenario. So it's not just a day, it might be just a case scenario. Electricity is off. Is your business now connected with electricity so much virtually? You might be affected. Do you have a plan? In fact, just this morning in our business group, we talked about that. So I want to invite us to really plan, write down what might go wrong. And I would actually say, write down like you're visualizing that day. What happens is I help my brain to already have clues. Here's what might happen in the worst case scenario. Describe what might go wrong. And number two, I'm going to write down what I'm going to do about that. I call writing down my solutions for each worst case scenario. So if I overate, what am I going to do? If electricity is off, what am I going to do? In fact, for example, this morning in our business group, we talked about, okay, electricity is off. Before it actually goes off, on my plan, I'm going to let everyone know, here's what might happen. So everybody is expecting that something might go wrong and they don't think I'm not going to the meeting because I ignore them. So in the bad mood case, I'm going to plan. So if I am not feeling like waking up in the morning or going outside and doing any activities, what will I do, say, feel then? So here's how I plan each case scenario. And in fact, I would ask you to even write it down for yourself. It's the best way to bring my intention. If this happens, I will. So if electricity goes off in my business, for example, I will. If I overeat pizza on Friday night, I will. And I invite us to really go through each worst case scenario and plan it. Here's what might happen, and here's what I'm going to do, feel, and be. Okay? And okay, here's another example. Who loves outdoor walking and running in my case? A lot of us actually have started implementing being outdoors for fitness. In this weather, it's beautiful, but I'm not going to run, as I mentioned. That's 3 times a week that I'm deprived with my physical activity. So I am planning beforehand. If this weather happens, including ice, sometimes I go in the rain, but not in this weather. I will work out on those days, doing particular workouts. Sometimes I even go and I find, okay, if my legs are not being taken care of 3 times a week, I might find a workout that takes care of my legs. Okay, so it's substituting for what I need, or planning for a blackout. Nothing I can do, but planning beforehand, letting everyone know and asking for help, asking for assistance. Hey, if I overeat that pizza, or maybe before I do, would you please do this for me or say this to me? So please, let's plan what may go wrong and what we're going to do about that. Have it really, in fact, this morning, I typed it in my OneNote. And here's the final thought. When this worst case scenario comes, or the bad day, number 1, let's take a deep breath, just slow down. And number 2, refer to your plan. I'm going to open up that spreadsheet. Even though I may say, I know what to do, I'm going to look at it. Because most likely, because I'm so stressed, I might miss something. And actually, number 3, follow the plan that I set for myself. All right, remember, folks, fail to plan, plan to fail. So what are we doing about the bad days? Number 1, we really want to be clear what we call the bad days. Worst case scenario. What are they in your life, your business, your health? And number 2, we're going to write them down, and we're going to write down the plan of actions. If this happens, I will. And when this comes, take a breath, refer to your plan, and follow the plan. With that said, before you go, please leave me a comment how it lands on you today, especially and this week. And please join my newsletter. I believe I posted the link in the description. It's coachingbynadia.com/newsletter. And I will see you in the community. This month, we're also focusing on self-love. The biggest love you can give is actually love to yourself. When you sign up for the newsletter, you will be updated each event that is happening. In fact, tomorrow I will be interviewing my business partner, Linda Toth. She's a former nurse and now she's focusing on empowering women with nutrition and emotional care. It will be a beautiful conversation tomorrow at 9 a.m. inside Friends and Health Facebook group, as well as my business page. And if you like more information, do please join the newsletter and I will email it to you this afternoon as well. Before you go, let me know how you love this conversation. Thank you for enjoying the practical advice. I see your comments and I will see you soon in the community. Stay safe and warm. Bye-bye now.